Every man on the planet is seeking that perfect unicorn woman, someone who's reserved, looks gorgeous, and only wants to be with him. But it's becoming increasingly harder in the modern era to find her. Since love isn't valued as much, it's often shared with everyone, and this makes it hard to know if a woman has slept with many men or not. Today, we explore this and look at a couple of the fundamental signs that often indicate whether a woman has slept with many men or not. But first, you must know why this is important to know and how it affects your relationship. Well, many men believe that it doesn't have any effect on her future relationships, but as one person famously said, if many hands are dipped in the same glass of water, no one wants to drink from the glass anymore. This is arguably one of the wisest statements ever, and once you understand that intimacy is a connection of energy between two people, you'll certainly want to avoid women who have all these differing energies. Psychology has also shown that women eventually become emotionally distant if they've given themselves away too much, which leads to commitment issues, something that is more prevalent with men, and this could cause relationship troubles. While there's no set number of how many partners is fine for her, you should try to date women who keep it in the single-digit range as much as possible. But how do you spot such women?
Fearless Forge.
Number 1. Emotionally open for experiences. One of the biggest things you'll notice with women is that when they have a past life that involves plenty of intimacy, they often become far more reserved emotionally. Whereas many younger and inexperienced women tend to get rid of their gullible personalities with more experience, those who haven't had the same experiences will inevitably be more open toward it. In fact, you'll notice that she still perceives love the old-fashioned way, and she might even talk about how she wants to save herself for marriage. The reason for this is that women with tons of experience tend to feel plenty of shame, and it's this shame that makes them feel unworthy of being loved. One of the best ways to get a feel for how many sexual partners she's had in the past is to look at how she deals with emotions and whether she's built up as many walls around her as many other women have. Number 2, she cares about how she looks. This one is a little complicated, but you need to differentiate between how she looks in public during the day and how she looks when she's out for the night. You see, many women have learned that they won't find a man through everyday activities and that men have become increasingly shy to make approaches. However, she understands that when you add some alcohol to the mix, the level of confidence among men will rise, and this is why she'll try to make herself look as hot as possible when it comes to these parties. Now, chances are you'll probably meet her on a night out, but if you get to know her, you'll find out if she actually cares about herself or if she's just hunting men. You see, women lose self-esteem when they're used by too many men, and this makes them not care anymore. However, if she's always looking great, you can be sure that she doesn't have too many bad experiences with too many men. Number 3, does she dabble around on dating apps? Now, this one is a little more personal and might be open for some scrutiny, but the level of sexual activity among women on dating apps compared to those who don't have these apps is actually enormous. The reason for this is that women have direct access to different men and they actively engage with them. However, someone who doesn't dabble around on dating apps has it a little differently, and they need to find someone in real life, which doesn't happen as frequently. In fact, she might only date one person per year due to men not willing to make any approaches in public. So if you meet someone through work or friends, you can easily strike up a conversation about how more and more people are dating on social apps. You can ask her what her experiences are after you make her feel like she won't be judged. If she has experience with social dating apps, it's safe to assume that her body count will be higher than others. However, you can use this as a baseline and some of the other signs to validate your opinion. Number 4, having an actual conversation. Most of you are here from some of the subtle signs that indicate whether or not a woman has had numerous sexual partners, but one of the best ways to actually find out is to ask her directly. This will give you 2 indications of whether or not she's had numerous partners, but takes a little psychology and social ingenuity. First of all, she'll probably lie to you if she's slept with tons of guys, but there will be clear indication of her lies when she tells you, especially if you have the confidence to have such a conversation face to face. If she's lying, all the traditional signs of a liar, like stuttering or being unable to calculate the number, will be there, which is what should give you a decent indication that she's been playing with a variety of partners. However, occasionally you'll come across women who are honest about this, and they'll directly tell you that they've slept with plenty of guys. This can be quite an interesting conversation, but when she's slept with more guys than you like, you can walk away respectfully, as you should. Keep in mind that most women will never be completely honest about their sexual history, especially if they spend the majority of their social life partying and going to different clubs. This is just a way of protecting themselves, which is why one of these signs alone can't be trusted, and you need to use all the next signs that are about to come to validate some of your initial thoughts. Number 5. Seductive flirting. There's a difference between a woman flirting and someone trying to seduce you and get you in bed. This is actually a very good sign of whether she has some experience with other men, and a woman who tries to seduce you will have at least some experience of seducing other men in bed. You see, women who are real saints will lack the experience of knowing how a situation needs to progress to eventually lead to the bedroom. They tend to be more submissive and will expect you to be the one who leads the interaction and flirts with her. The thing is that women don't need to flirt as much to get a man who will say yes to sleeping with her. Many of them know this, and this is why they can easily whisper something seductive in your ear and you'll be ready to take her home. Women who don't have tons of experience don't clearly understand how this works, and they'll make many flirting blunders that could be funny or cute. If you pick up on her constantly seducing you, she's probably had a number of sexual partners and understands how it works. Number 6. She asks about your sexual experience. This one might be a little confusing, but actually delves deep into the human mind, especially when it comes to psychology. If she has a history of too many sexual partners, a conversation about it will never pop up from her side. In fact, she'll want to stay away from these conversations as much as possible in the hopes of burying her past. On the flip side, a woman who actively confronts you about your sexual past might be someone who hasn't had the same level of experience with men, and this can often make them curious about how it is and whether your experiences have been great. By talking about your experiences, some inexperienced women with good self-esteem might actually be turned on instead of being jealous. You need to understand that even if a woman hasn't had tons of sexual partners, she still has a solid imagination, and she wants to fantasize about these types of things as a way of having a little bit of experience. Since this can often be seen as cute, especially when she lacks the experience, you can solidify her as your girlfriend and be sure that she'll ultimately learn everything from you, which gives you control over the sexual nature of the relationship. Number 7. Her behavior when you sleep together. Finally, the last way that will indicate whether or not she's experienced in bed will only be revealed when you're actually heading in such a direction. You see, a woman who doesn't have experience will ultimately allow you to lead without creating that enticing sexual tension between the two of you. A woman who knows exactly what she's doing is someone with experience, and even if she tells you that she has picked up a few things by watching porn and reading, you'll still immediately know if she does have experience. You see, a woman with knowledge and no experience will do the right thing, but she'll be incongruent with timing and might even be shy about it. But that doesn't mean you should sleep with every woman to find out if she has experience. You can use deductive reasoning by using the first 6 signs and eventually use number 7 when you're more confident about her sexual history. The days of sexual intimacy being valued are long gone, and with these 7 signs in your mind, you should spot experience more effectively. But there are certain sexual positions women love more than others, so check out this next video to see how you can eventually rock her world.